Good evening. Could I have a motion to make Alderman Bushman Mayor Pro Tem for the evening?
So moved.
A second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Welcome to the Monday, June 6, 2022 session of the Lake Forest City Council. Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Certainly. Honorable Mayor Pandeleon is absent. Alderman Morris is absent. Alderman Karas is absent. Alderman Rummel?
Here.
Alderman Notes?
Here.
Alderman Preschlack?
Here.
Alderman Gashgarian?
Here.
Alderman Bushman?
Here.
Alderman Weber?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Would you please rise and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I take great pleasure in the first item on the agenda, which is introducing a resolution of appreciation for retiring employee William E. Borzik. Bill has served the city for 35 years, and there was a recent story in Lake Forest Love blog titled "Building a Career, Borzik Reflects on 35 Years with the City of Lake Forest." An excellent article, and hopefully you read it because you were quoted quite a bit in it. So very nice. And I found interesting in the article that your dad was a sexton at Lake Forest Cemetery, and young Bill, as a teenager, helped his dad at the cemetery. So I guess we have to think about Bill having 35 years plus in dedicated service to the city. We do have a resolution of appreciation. I'd like to read it now. Whereas William E. Borzik has been a dedicated employee of the City of Lake Forest since May 5, 1987, and whereas Bill has honorably retired from the city on May 20, 2022, and whereas Bill served in the following positions during his dedicated career: maintenance worker and building maintenance supervisor, and whereas Bill first served as a maintenance worker in the Parks and Rec Department prior to becoming the first official full-time hire of the Public Works Building Maintenance Section in 1996, and whereas Bill was directly involved with the significant growth of the Building Maintenance Section from 6 buildings in 1996 to 36 buildings today, oversaw numerous facility improvement projects, and positively impacted the professional development of many public works maintenance employees. And whereas Bill has developed significant relationships and will be missed by many friends and colleagues across all city departments and other community agencies such as Gorton Community Center and Elwa Farm Foundation. And whereas Bill will enjoy his well-deserved retirement with his friends and family, including spending time working on his disc golf game, which I understand is very professional. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Lake Forest that the council, on behalf of the administration and the residents of the community, hereby expresses appreciation and gratitude to William E. Borzik for a public service faithfully performed, and be it further resolved that this resolution be appropriately inscribed and conveyed to Bill, with a copy to be included in the official minutes of the June 6, 2022 meeting of the City of Lake Forest. I'd like to share with you the resolution, so if you'd please come forward. Bill, if I could have one formality, I'd like to ask a motion from the City Council to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I'll have a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Wonderful. Congratulations. I understand your wife has recently retired, Kim.
Yes, actually, on the same day.
Enjoy retirement. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure.
Thank you. Your podium's yours.
I'd like to just say thank you to the City of Lake Forest for having me as an employee. It's been a great 35 years. I want to also thank my wife for managing through all the late night phone calls for snow command and building alarms. And also I'd like to thank Dan Martin for his friendship and mentorship through the 35 years I've been here. It's a great place to work and I appreciate everything. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is comments by City Manager. Mr. Wisha?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and members of City Council. Good evening. For tonight's Community Spotlight, I'm pleased to welcome the Lake Forest Preservation Foundation. We have here tonight Executive Director Marcy Kerr to present the organization's annual Preservation Awards. And I'll just note that we all know that Lake Forest is a community filled with architectural treasures, and maintaining our visual character really hasn't happened by accident. And so I want to acknowledge not just, of course, the role that our city boards and commissions and our codes play, but the tireless work of the Preservation Foundation for their advocacy for preservation and restoration. And of course, just to acknowledge too, all of the property owners who many times go to great lengths and at great cost to maintain their homes. And that's who they're here to honor tonight. And so with that, Marcy, I'm happy to turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Jason. Good evening, members of the council and city staff. Thank you for inviting the Preservation Foundation to share their 2022 Preservation Awards with you. Our president, Susie Athenson, is also with me, and we won't take up too much time, but we did have a lot of awards this year. This year marks the 31st year that the Lake Forest Preservation Foundation has granted the annual Historic Preservation Awards. The range and variety of properties honored since 1991 cover large and small homes, businesses, landscapes, and public spaces throughout Lake Forest. Our 250 awards have been granted. The goal of the awards is to showcase the best works and the owners and architects that make it happen. The standards for judging structures and landscapes for awards are those of the Department of Interior for the treatment of historic properties and included well-executed, newly constructed buildings and structures that fit into their surrounding areas. The 10 awards presented this year represent 3 categories: rehabilitation, infill, and new construction, infill or new construction, and preservation. Our first category is rehabilitation, which acknowledges the need to alter or add to an historic property to meet continuing or changing uses that while retaining the property's historic character. Our first award in this category is 245 Vine Avenue. The original owner and architect are unknown. It was built in 1910 and rehabbed in the 20s and 30s by Anderson and Tickner. The current owners are Susan and Darren Wininger, and the project architect is Melakar Architects. This 1910, built originally as a 4-square suburban-type residence, was updated for its Green Bay neighborhood status in 1927 by Anderson and Tickner. This early renovation involved removal of a large front porch, new classic trim, and 2 large west side additions. After almost a century of neglect and deferred maintenance, the current owners, guided by Diana Melakar, did another extensive rehabilitation to bring this home into the current century. The new design retained the historical character and features of the original home while rehabilitating the home on the interior and exterior, including updates to its mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems for modern-day living. The rehabilitation has stabilized, made serviceable once again, a major contributor on this Vine Avenue enclave streetscape. Next is 509 East Deer Path. The original owner was the First Church of Christ Scientists. The original architect was Charles Draper Faulkner, 1941. The current owner is the History Center of Lake Forest Lake Bluff, and the project architect was Whitmer and Associates. Awarded for adaptive reuse of this former church structure to meeting, exhibition, and office space for the History Center. The original federal-style exterior and its spire were by Charles Draper Faulkner, with the 1951 interior by the Anderson firm. The later added unsympathetic additions were removed. Structural rehabilitation, new windows, and the front door restoration gave it a renewed spirit to the building as the History Center of Lake Forest Lake Bluff. Next is 375 Washington Road. The original owner was E.J. Manahan. The original architect was Stanley Anderson, 1925. The current owners are Leanne and Dan Bruin. The project architect was Strata Architects and Builders. Stanley Anderson designed this house for E.J. Manahan in 1925. This was a very early period for the firm's history, as Anderson and Tigner had just opened their office in May of 1925, and the house was completed in late 1926. Manahan, the original owner, was the originator of milk being sold in glass bottles and owner of the Manahan Chocolate Shop on Western Avenue. The recently restored exterior showcased some very interesting and delightful masonry details in the chimney and front arch. Next is 120 East Woodland Road. The original owners, Willis and Ellen Adderich Griffiths. Unknown, the original architect was unknown. It was built in about 1910. The current owner is Suzanne Boren, and the project architect was Malachar Architects. This key former Adderich Farm West Park neighborhood residence is located at the intersection of two major streets in Howard Van Doren Shaw's 1906 subdivision. Ellen Adderich Griffith and her spouse, Willis Griffith Sr., a builder, purchased the lot in 1907. Little appearance-wise has changed in over a century. On this restored circa 1910 stucco L-shaped front porch has been enclosed to restore the space to usefulness and control the noise generated at the stop. The true divided light fenestration keeps the historical character of the original design. Next is 685 Burton Drive. The original owner and architect is unknown. The current owners are Julie and Pat Berry, and the project architect was Brushman Architects. This house was built in the style and character of architect Russell Walcott and Robert Works' 1930 completed residence at 850 East Deer Path, a version of English-French early 19th century classic style. Architect Michael Bresman's compatible though differentiated addition set back from the main symmetrical block enabled the Berries to enlarge the elegant house, now more suitable for modern living. The next category is infill or new construction, which is building new construction that demonstrates exemplary contextual compatibility in an established neighborhood. The first award winner in this category is 301 North Sheraton Road. The current owners are Yvonne and Devin Bruce, and the project architect was Bresman Architects. Architect Michael Bresman designed this new pool house as a comfortable fit for the adjacent residence built by Russell Walcott in 1925. The character is conveyed by the central gable with its Tudor half timbering at the roof level of this brick structure. In its simplicity, it also recalls the 1960s early postmodern local pool houses of Fraser and Rafferty and I.W. Cohen. Next is 347 Bluffs Edge. The current owner is Thomas Fuller. The project architect was Malachar Architects and McCormick and Eaton, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. This major new residence And Lake Bluff Pavilion represents a collaboration of two leading regional design teams. It recalls the shingle Richardsonian picturesque style, fully equal to its dramatic setting. The stone base, classic arches, shingled multi-roof, gabled front recall together H.H. Richardson's inventive, eclectic style. The Bluffside Boathouse Pavilion continues this nostalgic character, adding a copper-roofed turret typical of 1880s style. The design unity and detailing with the materials quality has set a high benchmark for new construction along Lake Forest's southeast lakefront. The next category is preservation. This focuses on the maintenance and repair of existing historic materials, retention of a property's form as it has evolved over time. This is the act or process of applying measures necessary to sustain the existing form, integrity, and materials of a historic property. The first slide in this category is Noll Woods Club Original Men's Locker Room. The original architect, Howard Van Doren Shaw, 1925, project architect, Whitmer and Associates. Howard Van Doren Shaw designed this men's locker room for the 1925 organized Knollwood Club's first building. Its blended Tudor and classic style, its end gables recalling the architect's early 1920s Lamont House at 810 South Ridge Road. With its long central proportion dominated on the main level by classic Roman arches, the attic level has also organized dormers with a portico at one end designating the entry. Careful rehabilitation after a century of use is a major contribution to the preservation of a local historic character. Next is 115 North Green Bay Road. The original owners, Elizabeth Hindy and Charles S. DeLong. Alfred H. Granger, 1924, was the architect, and the gardens are by Ann Baker in the 1930s. The current owners are Jennifer and Jack Durberg. Designed by Alfred H. Granger in 1924, this beautiful home has been preserved and maintained at great length. Built as one of the two homes for the Hindy sisters opposite Onwensia Club. The Durbergs, only the third owner of this house, inherited a facade easement and set about updating an interior that echoed centuries ago lifestyles while carefully preserving the exterior of the picturesque English Tudor cottage and arts and crafts garden to high preservation standards. And lastly, 1240 North Sheraton Road. The original owners, John and Mary Kerrigan. The original architect was unknown, but built in approximately 1840, and the later additions by Walter Frazier in the 1930s. The current owners are Chrissy and Matt Davis. Known as the John Francis Kerrigan home, it was built in the 1840s and is considered one of the oldest homes in Lake Forest. Based on the Italian clapboard farmhouse style, it has had many additions, including Walter Frazier's in the 1930s and Ridgeway Builders in 2003. The property has been maintained and updated on its protected spacious lawn under the careful stewardship of the current owners. Again, a very beautiful example of a livable historic home. And that concludes the 2022 Historic Preservation Award presentation. Does anyone have any questions? I know it's a lot.
I just wanted to say thank you, Marcy, for all your hard work to make our community special and preserve our traditions.
Oh, you're welcome.
And-
Well, I have a few more things to tell you about it.
Yeah,
too,
and I
so.
wanted to also give a shout out to Susan. Susie's done a lot for our community as well as being on this board, but also on the BRB and the HBC, which I was served on with you, and the Plan Commission. So thank you for taking on this role as well, and just thank you for everything.
You're welcome. I just had a couple, Susie's been great, but I just had a couple other things I wanted to update you on. First of all, this is our historic building markers, which I actually brought a real sample of. That's planned for the Central Business District and was approved by the HPC almost 2 years ago. but has been beset by many obstacles: COVID, material shortages, manufacturing issues, including errors and the manufacturing going bankrupt. So it has been a really slow project. But we finally have in hand 18 plaques ready to be installed on key buildings. The plaques have bullet points, key information as to the year built, the architect, and a short history. And then along in the bottom, there'll be a QR code so people can use their phone to get more information. The intent of the project is to raise awareness and promote Lake Forest's rich architectural and landscape design heritage with the installation of bronze plaques on various architecturally distinctive buildings and spaces within the central business district to encourage residents and visitors exploring the community by highlighting and interpreting these notable buildings and landscape spaces of the past and recent past. As you might remember, this idea came out of a 2017 program that the foundation did in joint program with the city called The Power of Uniqueness, and it was presented by renowned urban planner Ed McMahon, who noted the incredible architecture and landscape heritage of Lake Forest, but the lack of any interpretive displays to tell the story. He suggested finding ways to make the story of our community manifest in the landscape using markers, plaques, and public art to foster greater appreciation and stewardship. So we're happy to announce that throughout the summer we'll be installing these, and I think they'll be a real nice addition to our central business district. And then a couple more things. David Adler, I just wanted to mention this PBS documentary series that's being run during June on celebrating David Adler. We're very excited to help promote this 4-episode series during Fridays in June. The episodes will move through Adler's development and feature a tour each week of one of his 4 grand residences. 3 of the 4 residents that are being featured are in Lake Forest, Lake Bluff, with interviews by local experts. And then in conjunction with that, I just wanted to give a plug for our June garden stroll, which will be held at one of the residents that has been reviewed in this series, Infill, I think. Sorry. Infill is one of the featured grand residents in the documentary with interviews of Adrian and Jason Smith. So more information on the PBS Adler program and our garden stroll are on our website. And that's really it.
Marcy, again, thank you for the presentation. I think the programs you have, like the one you presented to us, encourages folks to do what's needed to preserve, enhance, and beautify the city that we cherish so much. And, appreciate everything else you've done. You have a wonderful magazine that has some very interesting and helpful articles in there. And you've noted programs that are coming up. There was a program you had last month that the mayor and I attended, which was looking at Lake Forest Forward in terms of a sensible and sensitive approach to development in our historic center. And it's that sort of information and that sort of outreach that, again, adds to the vibrancy and the beauty that we have in our city. So again, thank you very much for all you do.
Well, thank you for all you do. You do so much for this community, and it's really appreciated. So enjoy your summer.
Thank you.
Thank you for, again, the special city that we have. Any other comments by the city manager?
No, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Next on their agenda is opportunity for citizens to address the city council. Do we have any requests to address the city council? Don't see that we've received any. So the next item on our agenda is committee reports. We have a report from the Public Works Committee. We have an update on work order management systems by Dan Martin, Superintendent of Public Works, and Cameron Burrow, Business Analyst, Department of Innovation and Technology. Dan, you have the floor.
Good evening. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Got it. Yes, tonight I'm going to talk about work orders. That's also on the omnibus agenda tonight. I figured we would give an overview of that. In January of 2020, a work order system RFP was issued, and we received 4 proposals. In March of 2020, staff it shifted priorities to implement a citizens request management system, which is part of Cartograph, to address a more immediate need to provide a platform for residents to quickly and efficiently submit a service request. Felt this was very important due to the COVID right there at March with the stay-at-home order. Made it very efficient for citizens to be able to get a hold of city staff. In July of 2020, City Council approved C-Click-Fix as our citizens request management system. As I mentioned, C-Click-Fix is provided by Cartograph, one of the 4 proposals from the work order RFP. C-Click-Fix was implemented in tandem with the city's new website and mobile app in early of 2021. After 15 months of being live, the system has logged 2,800 service requests ranging from special garbage collections to, tree limbs, potholes, you name it. It's been very effective, very high response. In October of, because of that, in October of 2021, due to the high adoption rate to our internal staff, additional user license for C-Click-Fix was requested and approved by City Council. So, in early of 2022, staff explored the next phase of progressing to the city towards a full work order management system. The project team recommends proceeding with Cartograph operations management software. Cartograph scored the highest during the proposal evaluation and scoring. Beehive was also in consideration, however, scored lower in areas such as user acceptance, testing, project methodology, and training. Cartograph had robust list of municipalities that they were municipalities they worked with compared to Beehive. In addition, what we've heard from the village of Buffalo Grove as well, they have a very, very strong user group as well, which became a very big highlight in moving with this forward. They have so many people collaborating on a regular basis just to get together and for Cartograph to get feedback from all the municipal users to just keep continually improving what they are providing as far as the work order management system. There's an existing relationship with Cartograph by way of C-Click-Fix providing familiarity with the services and implementation. C-Click-Fix remains the front-end resident-facing interaction and integrates directly into Cartograph for internal processing. So we're still going to be having the platform C-Click-Fix, and now it's just going to be integrated and become more powerful and more efficient for the city staff as well as the citizens to get responses. While C-Click-Fix provides basic tracking and service request management, Cartograph operation management software provides a more intuitive interface for working in the field, interactive dashboards for reporting and reviewing data, a way for the city to track assets and forecast for the future through data-driven decision-making, including integration with GIS for asset mapping. Workflow automation and reduction of manual processes like scheduling, time entry, data entry, et cetera, will all be available through the work order program. Moving on, as you can see, we have 8 categories of the modules. Each one of those is a module, and it breaks down what each of the programs that will be covered through the work order management system. I'm not going to read them all, but you can see from Park and Rec, it's going to take care of all the public parks, any parks that they put in, athletics spaces, benches, trees. And then you move into water distribution with the backflow or hydrants, pumps, All these things that need constant and annual maintenance will all be tracked using the work order system and workflows. So, so here's a couple of examples, screenshots. You have a supervisor manager dashboard view on the left, and then the mobile app view for field employees. And if you look at the map, the mobile app, so all of our users, both Park Rec and Forestry and Public Works, all carry an iPhone. So right now we do that, and that was part of the integration with C-Click Fix. So at any time supervisor gets a C-Click fix, they can then send it to someone in the field to have it addressed. And when they take care of it, they simply go on, click on the app, complete it, and fill it out, and it's very user-friendly, fast, efficient, and then that tracks and gets back to the resident as well, but also keeps, we collect that information and data for future use as well. But you can see on that we have, you know, on that left here side, this is a full list of daily activities, work orders. So they can either come from C-Click Fix or all the daily duties that the supervisor has put out for that person in the field to take care of that day. And then they keep up and monitor that. So it really helps control scheduling and workflow. It also allows us to keep track of things. It's just one less thing you have to do manually or following up by phone or text or email. It's all in one place, and it just really helps prevent things from falling through the cracks, and we can get it done in a more efficient, expedient way. So it's been very effective, and we're excited to be able to take that next level and use it in work orders for the other things that all of the field workers do on a daily basis out in the field. So we can just assign it. Our administrative assistants that take on phone calls and or get emails still can then go right in and put that into the app and send it off, so it gets taken care of as a work order. So it's really going to expedite what we have to do and all the workflows that take place to get this work performed in a timely manner. On the left, you have the supervisor management dashboard view. Not sure too many can read, but this was basically a snapshot that's taken for a storm cleanup. And it's giving the full summary. So you can see on the left, it's giving you a total cost, but it breaks down the labor, the equipment, the material. Down at the bottom, it's got areas where it shows the projected tasks, the planned tasks, in progress, completed, or anything canceled. So it's just totally keeping up for anything that's going on, and so nothing falls through the cracks like I mentioned before and doesn't get lost in the system. When you're talking storm cleanup or snow or flooding events, it's in our department with Park and Forestry, it's all hands on deck. You've heard MT talk about it, Director Thomas, and it's everyone's involved, and it gets pretty chaotic, and be able to track all of this in the future by just assigning one work order number that everyone's going to account for through the system, and it's going to collect all that information. So during a snowstorm right now, it's one thing to get through the storm. It's hours and hours to collect all that data, to summarize all the timesheets for regular overtime, tonnage of salt, you name it, we're tracking it. You've seen the reports. It takes quite a bit of time and effort to get those reports done. Now it's going to be literally a click of a button, and really streamline that whole process. And not only that, we can then take on comparisons. It's going to put a file together. It's going to give us a full listing. So if we want to compare the storms in January from 3 years ago, how this January, which we frequently get asked, how's this January measuring up to the last January, we would be able to quickly do that. It's all at a click of a button with the totals. Each department can go in and determine what their resources that they're using on there. We can use this for training. It's just an endless, tool that we're excited to hopefully move forward with tonight. So little bit of a timeline. Public Works Committee, we met last on May 26th. They reviewed everything that we just talked about and approved for moving on to City Council. We're here this evening, and then if things are accepted tonight and awarded, we would do a project kickoff meeting in June, and then we would follow up with implementation start in January, with the hope that we have the system going live for our first snow season before the first snow flies. So, and then we get to the budget towards the end here, and so there's really two things on the table. I have the copy of the council action below, but you can see on the left tonight, the first action is to accept really the majority of it is the cartograph implementation for part of that kickoff, and it's going to be quite a heavy load for supervisors and other employees to come in and basically workflow all of their various programs with the help of Cartograph, who's got extensive experience, especially in the municipal market and field, to come in with many templates and many ideas. But this is an opportunity that we really want to make sure that we have, and what we do currently is taken into account, plus taking in what they can offer as the way things are moving, and to make sure we're staying up to speed with the industry in each particular discipline. So we're real excited about that. But and then it also includes the first year of the subscription, plus the C-Click fix. So, and then we're just asking, just for in case we come across something that's going to take a little extra time, a 5% contingency, and that's where that 104,790 comes in for the first part of it. The second part, as you can see, each of the years for future Cartograph, C-Click fix, and subscription services. Please notice the note at the bottom. So C-Click fix currently costs annually, that was back in 2021 when it was accepted, $33,705, excuse me. And so when you look at years 2, 3, and 4, you can then easily see the 46,350, for instance, taking away the 33, you're looking pretty much around the 15 or less mark, 15,000. So we felt very good about that, and we're getting a much more robust system in place because of that. So if I can take any questions, or Cam is here as well. Go ahead.
Alderman Weber?
Thank you. What a wonderful asset, I think, to move forward with for our organization. Quick question, will you be entering in any historical data into this system so that when we talk about bringing up comparables, snowfalls, tons of salt used, is that part of the plan, or will you be starting fresh 2022 and you'll have to go back to your previous modeling?
I think the approach has not been totally defined yet. I think we are just going to start fresh from the beginning and take an opportunity to make sure we're capturing everything that we do now, but also some of the ideas, implementation that we get from Cartograph. My understanding is that we can always go back with Excel and other types of data and put that in. Am I correct in saying that? Yeah. So I think that's our approach, is to start fresh, move forward, and then we can backfill those areas. Because I think we would probably like to do, maybe not everything, Alderman Luby, but we would certainly want to do like the snow and some of the other critical areas that we track, especially with large groups.
It sounds like a great project for an intern.
Absolutely.
Any other questions of Dan or Darrell? If not, again, thank you very much. It's obviously a great development from the way things were done in the past. And, you know, you think back to someone like Bill Borzak, who's seen a lot of changes. We talked about the number of facilities, but even in the technology area now, things are changing so much in the workflow and the processing. So thank you for staying ahead of the game and in implementing this. This is the fourth item on our omnibus agenda.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. The next item on our agenda is the omnibus items. We do have 11 items. I will read them now. Number 1, approval of the May 16th, 2022 City Council meeting minutes. 2, approve the purchase of dual band capable portable radios for the fire department from state bid vendor Motorola Solutions. 3, approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Lake Forest and the Illinois State Toll Highway Authority. 4, award contract with Cartograph Systems LLC to purchase software and services for a work order management system as budgeted in FY23 capital plan in the amount of $99,800 to include a 5% contingency in the amount of $4,990 for a total cost of $104,790. Additionally, approve 3-year agreement for annual subscription services included in the FY 2024 through FY 2027 operating budget for the sum of $143,264 in total. It would amount to $248,054, which is being requested for implementation of the system and 4 years of licensing and maintenance. 5, award of the low bid for the 2022 storm sewer lining program to Hoare Construction, Inc., and authorize the city manager to execute an agreement in the amount not to exceed $180,000. 6, award a 1-year professional services agreement extension to Multi-System Management Company to provide janitorial services at city facilities, and authorization for the city manager to execute an agreement extension in the amount of $225,035. 7, award of a 5-year professional services agreement to Lakeland HVAC Automation to provide HVAC control system services at city facilities, and authorization for the city manager to execute an agreement in the amount of $50,978. 8, consideration of ordinances approving recommendations from the Building Review Board. They'll be first reading, and if desired by the City Council, final approval. 9, consideration of ordinances approving recommendations from the Zoning Board of Appeals, first reading, and if desired by the City Council, final approval. 10, consideration of ordinances approving recommendations from the Historic Preservation Commission, first reading, and if desired by the City Council, final approval. 11, consideration of a recommendation from the Plan Commission in support of a special use permit for the Skin Care Center, a dermatology clinic at 225 East Deer Path. If desired by the council, waive first reading and grant final approval of the ordinances. Would anyone on the council have any questions, comments on any of these items, or would they like to remove and take separate any of these 11 items? Don't hear any, and so if there's no comment and no removal to take separately, I ask for a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Second. Would you please take the roll?
Alderman Rommel.
Aye.
Alderman Notes.
Aye.
Alderman Preschlack.
Aye.
Alderman Gashgarian.
Aye.
Alderman Bushman.
Aye.
Alderman Weber.
Aye.
6 yeas, 0 nay. Motion carries.
Thank you. In terms of our agenda, we have no old business this evening, no new business this evening. I'll ask members of the council if they have anything they'd like to comment on at this point. Alderman Weber.
Thank you, Pro Temp Mayor.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. First, what a wonderful meeting. Thank you so much for running it so smoothly. I just wanted to welcome my youngest brother who moved back to Lake Forest, and his wife and son. We're happy to have him in the 4th Ward. And he so kindly sent me a screenshot of the welcome letter that the city sends out to all the new homeowners, and he really appreciated that. And I thought it was great it included the link to find the app, because I think the app is something we're really investing in, and I think it's really important to get all of our residents engaged in using it. So thank you so much.
Kudos to the City Hall staff for that.
Thank you.
And certainly we welcome him, and also the many new residents.
Yes.
I know the mayor comments frequently on the turnover we've had and the new citizens we have, and again, we certainly all want to welcome them, and I understand he's added to the 4th Ward, so maybe have another vote there. So congratulations. Any other comments by any of the other aldermen? If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Is
Second.
there a second? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Meeting's adjourned.
Ice.